You go to the church and God gonna do it. Just pray and believe.
Wow.
And that's how we do.
That's all we do.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm excited about this episode. I'm here with internationally known for rocking the microphone, world traveler, maximum impact, taking people back to the continent and beyond, author, innovator, entrepreneur, none other than Jay the Man Cameron. Listen, we've been trying to connect for minutes.
Your name has been popping up
for a minute
in my feed.
And you busy.
I'm busy.
You busy.
But you're busy too.
No. See, I'm busy like local busy. You like international busy.
You're international too because we're here in Ghana.
You know what I'm saying? People like, hey, where you at, man? I'm in Jamaica this week. I'm going back to... So, man, it's really good to sit down and chop it up with you. I'm glad that we got some time to have a conversation. First things first, people already know who you are. But just give us a little bit of background. You're here in Ghana. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do with the continent.
Well, my name is Jay Cameron, and I'm the president of Maximum Impact. And really, my first trip to the continent was in November 2018. My eyes were opened, and from there, I've been to 10 African countries to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And I began to realize how we were misinformed in the US. And so once I had the first taste of West Africa, and the first country was Ghana, I just kept wanting to learn more and more and more. And really what it did, when I started learning more about our history over here, it caused me to want to learn more about our history over in the States. And so it's just like this thirst. And at every turn, every different country that I've been to, I've learned something new. And so that's, then the other part was, when I came, I realized that more people needed to see it. So that's when Maximum Impact, the travel division of Maximum Impact, was started. And so we brought close to 100 people back.
Wow.
And this is during, first tours were in 2019. Obviously, we know COVID in 2020, but we continued to bring people once the borders opened back up. And we're looking forward to we had a big 2021, looking forward to a bigger 2022 and 2023, and just wanting people to really see for themselves, because we've heard so many things. Coming from the States, we've heard mostly negative things about the continent, and we haven't been taught the diversity, and that's what you begin to see. So when people see for themselves and they go back, that's how the narratives are changed. That's how they can go back and tell someone, yeah, we heard that, but here's what I saw when I was there.
Wow. So obviously you're doing a lot of great things. So let's jump straight into it. You got people coming back to the continent. What is the experiences of those individuals, what you see in terms of those first-time travelers? How are they taking in the experience like Ghana?
When they first get off of the plane, you have to understand the expectations are already low.
What are some of the expectations? What are some of the things you hear from your people?
They're expecting for it to be extreme poverty everywhere.
Okay.
They're expecting the people not to like them. They're expecting to not be able to have food to eat. They're expecting the most primitive environment. So when they get off of the plane, and this is not everybody, some people are knowledgeable, but when they get off of the plane, the expectations are low. But then when they start riding around and seeing that they're living their lives here, just like we live our lives in America, and obviously there's some cultural differences, but they see it's really no different. They're just in their worlds living the same way that we're in our world living. And then I'm very intentional about training people before they come. So having culture training, not just putting them on a plane and bringing them to Africa. If you explain to people that, the pace might be a little bit slower.
It's a lot bit slower.
Yeah.
You being nice. It's a lot bit slower.
It's
a lot bit slower.
Especially when it comes time to get that food cooked.
Man, listen, you be waiting. By the time you want to order something else, you be like, man, I ain't even hungry no more.
Right. Be like, don't worry, take it back.
Yeah.
But it's like we have those conversations.
Yeah.
So when they come and it happens, they're not overwhelmed. They're like, okay, he did say pack your patience. I warn them about the traffic. Say, this traffic here will rival anything or put to shame many things in America as far as the intensity of it. I tell them about the conditions of some of the roads. So they're not coming here looking, I tell them to leave America in America. And once they get that in their mind, now they can appreciate the people, they can appreciate the culture. They're able to say, wait a minute, I can eat here. The hotels that we take them to, we make sure that these are hotels that will be comparable to anything that they would have in America, just because I understand sometimes you don't want to get thrown into 12 feet of cold water.
Yeah, you won't do that.
No. So we bring them in, and then when they do that, because I know our culture, and when I say our culture, meaning culture back in America, I know how to take them on that emotional journey. And we start them off high, and we, because by the time you get to the dungeons, that's a low point.
It is.
And so you really want to be mindful of that versus just saying, hey, go on the tour, go to Ghana and leave them. I mean, like we're getting right. I mean, because sometimes that's what they do. They just put you out there on a tour, and you don't know that traffic is coming.
Yeah.
They don't know that somebody's going to overcharge them. So I said, hey, listen, don't take it personal. So think about it. If you were in that position, what would you do?
Yeah.
So it's like once they see it, then we teach them how to negotiate.
Okay.
So it's like a training, and then that makes it fun. And that's why people are willing to come back and do interviews with us after the tours.
So it sounds like you really are trying to prepare people for the cultural differences that they will experience, and we talk about, I know you talk about a lot on your channel, I talk about my channel, that it's very real. One of the things that I noticed is, particularly for black folks that's coming from America, is we don't recognize how American we are until we get to Ghana. So when you get to Ghana, everything is black. Then you come to Ghana, you realize, oh, this is the American side of me. Even how we speak our minds a little bit more loud and blah, 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 blah. But I want to get to we know what we both do.
Right.
But why really is this important? Like, why is it so important to get people to physically come back?
Because of the cultural connection. Although there are differences, there's similarities. And that's what I see in the hustle. When the people we don't hustle on the street per se, but we have a hustle in us that we know how to adapt. In America, we figure out how to survive. And so I wondered where it came from, but I came here and I was like, oh, I see these similarities, especially down in the South. You kind of see where in the gardens and some of my family, because I was born in Charleston, South Carolina, so I would see the gardens and they would have the pigs and the cows, and so you see that connection. But it's really important when you start understanding what happened. So for me, when I came, I was like, now what happened? What is this colonization story? Because I really didn't understand colonization.
You knew racism.
I knew racism.
But you ain't,
colonization is a different beast.
Yeah.
And I didn't even use the word colonization prior to coming. In 2018, prior to that, I might have said it once or twice in my life because I didn't even have an understanding of it.
Wow.
I came here, I said, well, what is going on?
So what were those things that made you ask? I'm trying, black people, we say ask. So I'm really trying hard to put that K in there. So what made you ask? What's really going on? Did you see something? Did you experience something?
Yeah, I saw all of the white Jesus everywhere.
Okay.
And I was like, what's going on?
Okay.
And the reason why it shocked me is because in America, we had that growing up. It's still around. But it was a part of the culture. But you're in a country that is majority white, European, or of lighter complexion.
Yeah.
Coming to a country that is 99% brown.
Yeah.
And seeing this figure, I said, well, how did this get here?
Okay.
Now, my background, spent many years in the church, and and I didn't even understand church history and all of that. So I started asking these questions. I said, a lot of times what they teach us in America in church, give you money, feel good, go on about your business. Yeah. they go down that road. Yeah. But then you come here and you say, now how did this get here? And then I saw the Mormon churches everywhere.
It look all pristine and clean. They be looking nice.
And I said, why are they even here? Since they already believe that the people are so I won't go down that doctrinal road with it, but I was like, something happened. And that's what I couldn't shake. And I said, well, then I started studying colonization. And then when I went back to the States, I went to the Whitney Plantation in Louisiana. Because now I'm saying, okay, let me see these connections. That's when I learned that the Catholic Church authorized the start of the European chattel slave trade in West Africa. Pope Nicholas V, the Dumbs Diversus. And I said, how is this? I said, in all of my years of church,
nobody never learned it. Yeah, you know, when I came to Ghana, I went to school. I went to school at a theology school here that focused on theology from an African context, and also it was the first time I learned some things about just even church history, mission history, and so that's why I focused a little bit on in terms of the history of missions, particularly in West Africa, but particularly in Ghana, starting in the late 18th and 19th century. And you put the pieces together, and you see why things happen the way that they happen. So you came here, you're bringing people here, you started asking these questions about some things that you saw. Now, how does that now impact how you see Ghana, knowing some more of that history, understanding that the white Jesus ain't going nowhere for no time soon? How does that impact, how you move around in this space now?
Well, I recognize that's the culture.
Okay.
And that is what it is, but everybody's not blinded by it, because a lot of other people see it, but they just haven't had a voice. And this is not, and when I say this, meaning people are slowly waking up across the board because of YouTube, because of platforms where there are arguments or there's information that challenges the status quo. So someone is saying it and people really think it in their minds, but then if you're in a culture, let's look at it like this. If you're in a culture where everybody's saying this is right, but in your mind you ask, well, how did this become? At that point, you feel like you're an outsider, you feel like you're someone that's going to be ostracized, so oftentimes you suppress those thoughts. But when you hear someone else ask the same question from somewhere else, now it causes you to say, well, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe I'm not the only one who sees it. So when it comes to, again, because we recognize that is a part of this culture, I don't focus my energy on trying to tear that down so much, because it is what it is as far as the knowledge base is concerned. But as you educate people more, like I saw the piece that you did talking about the missionary, and so as people begin to learn what happened, I try to take it from a broader perspective and say, what happened with colonization? What was going on before 1957? What was going on before 1885? How did all of this come together? Let's look at the context of the story. So when people start thinking like that, it's like now they begin to say, you know what, I wonder what was going on, because most people don't know what was happening. Most people don't even know that the borders of these countries were made up by colonization.
Yeah, you look at that Berlin conference, and you look at how they said, we're going to split this up, because the Western powers was fighting with each other, and they said, listen, we got to stop this beef.
Yes.
So here's what we're going to do. Jay, you get this part, you get this part, we get that part. And what you're saying, man, I think takes a lot of wisdom, because you know what I see sometimes with a lot of folks who come who are quote unquote woke? I see them doing the same thing that the missionaries did, except in the reverse. So they try to come and missionize you back into being woke again. So they'll tell you, don't go to church, don't go to the mosque, throw all that stuff away. And I think what you're saying is like understanding this a part of the culture. It's like it brings empathy, because we may be here in and out for a trip.
Right.
We may even live here, but even we come with a certain level of privilege.
That's very
to
true.
where we can go out and travel. But for somebody who this all they know,
that's all they know,
this is all they've experienced, it's not the same kind of reality. And I think that you being able to take a step back and observe is and I think it's something that, and what you're doing with educating people, I think is so important, because sometimes we come in and I really believe honestly that we come with a Western arrogance, except it's just black.
Absolutely.
And we try to tell people, no. Last thing I'll say is I talked to a dude one time where he said, I went to the villages, and you know what I'm saying, the people look so happy, but they so religious, they need to get away with their religion. And I was like, my dude, you say you went to the village, you visited, they live there.
That's right.
You don't see when some of these people may try to get some hospital care and can't afford it. And a simple issue becomes a detrimental issue. You visited,
yes,
but they live here.
That's right.
And so some of them, all they can do maybe is pray.
And that's all they know.
And that's all they know.
But listen, let me share this. I have to go back to when that's all I knew.
There you go. I mean, that's all I knew. Listen, I grew up in a black church. I just did my videos on the church and everything, and I remember praying for my financial breakthrough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nobody was teaching me about how much you got coming in versus going out. It's no. You go to the church and God gonna do it. Just pray and believe.
Wow.
And that's how we do.
That's all we do.
So what happened? Well, once you get, and I think once your perspective changed, what I realized it helps you understand that it gives you empathy.
Yes.
It gives you empathy. So you're bringing these people to Ghana. Let's talk about. Let's be real, Jay. How do you navigate those real cultural differences that can be really frustrating, and still be in a position of humility to work with people and not just be like, you know what, I'm done.
It's I think it takes a level of maturity, and I say that from the standpoint of entrepreneurial maturity, and then being a person that's maturing, because then your empathy comes in, because you say, okay, what is the culture here? How have they been trained? Then I have to say, okay, now am I being arrogant? Because how have I been trained? Am I really being humble? So I stop and I say to myself, okay, I listen. I spend time now in the church world, they call it discipleship.
That's right.
So I spend time. I'll go out, dinner, get the group together, go to dinner. I really listen and I cast a vision. And I listen for their philosophy. How do you feel about this? Is this something that you think you can do? Like with some of my guides, some are good, some might not be as good. But like I have one guide who, this is his first time being in charge. And so he was trying to let all the other people know
that he's in charge.
The HN, you know what I'm saying?
HNIC.
Right. So I had to dial him back. I said, come here, bro. I said, listen. We can't do that to people. We have to. I said, this is what I need you to do. Just stick to my script. I keep my tone respectful, because I understand oftentimes if I'm dealing with men are men, no matter where you are. And if you talk to them any kind of way, then either the passive aggressive is going to come out.
It's true, man. You speaking facts.
So I said, well, let me respect this man and just say, hey, here's my expectation. Just follow my script. I know what I'm doing. Trust me on this. And what he did was he said, you know what? I'm just going to follow you, stick to your script. And he's one of the most reliable people that I could ask for. I mean, even outside of America. I mean, inside of America, one of the most reliable people. So if you're willing to train, because people are people.
Yeah.
But understanding the culture is going to be important, because I've heard the same frustration. I've heard it from everybody moves so slow, and you'll say do this and they won't show up and they won't. I said there's a way to work around it. I said sometimes if you know that they're going to be late, then schedule it for an hour and a half earlier.
Exactly.
If you know you need to be there by say 12, tell them to get there at 10:30.
10:30.
And if you need it right, so then you know. So there are just ways to navigate it, but I think that comes with the training. It also comes with time on the ground here. And I spend time here. I've spent the most time in Ghana because this is going to be my base.
Yeah.
The decision, I said I want Accra because I can get to anywhere in West Africa from Accra.
Yeah.
So it has an airline that goes anywhere I need to go, whether it's from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, in Cote d'Ivoire, anywhere, Senegal, Burkina, and it's modern enough to where
I get you.
My American side just doesn't totally die, you know. So it's like it's modern enough to where I can still function. Internet, you can get internet when you need it. You can still upload your content.
Yeah.
And from there, I can get from here to East Africa. I can get to Addis Ababa airport easily. Yeah. I can get to Cairo easily. I can get to Joburg or Cape Town.
So you're thinking very strategically. You mentioned something I want to go back to. When I asked a question about dealing with the cultural differences, the first thing you said was entrepreneurial maturity.
Yes.
Talk about what that means, and I want you to do it with the backdrop of we deal with black folks. Sometimes we come and we think everybody black is just like us. And we get our feelings hurt when somebody try to cheat them or rob them or something. And so we miss opportunities because we get our feelings hurt.
Right.
What does that entrepreneurial maturity look like And if we're talking about us in particular as black folks, how should that show up as we're looking at opportunities on the continent?
Okay, so in the context of U.S. American
Yeah,
black folks,
yep,
okay.
yep.
And well, the first thing is patience. I have found that to be probably the most valuable asset that I brought to this, because if you're expecting, because we move a mile a minute.
Telling you.
We move like
Listen, I was telling somebody I can do like 50 things in
Yes.
one day. In Ghana, I'll do one thing
and be happy
in a whole week.
and be happy to get
And
that
be happy
done.
to get that one thing done. Like,
So that's why you get more than one person.
yeah, okay.
So if it's one thing you can get done, then if you want to get 5 things done, you get 5 people. So that's the strategy that I've realized. So you'll see where I'm constantly looking for new talent.
I'm telling you, you have to. You have to.
Every day.
You have to.
Every day
You
I'm
have
looking for new talent. I'm looking, if somebody's working in a restaurant and they really have good customer service.
I'm telling listen, if you're watching this here in Ghana, he's telling you he's always scouting for talent.
Every day.
So you giving nuggets that I don't think they understand.
It's like every day I'm looking to see, and they don't.
I feel you. Because I'm the same way. I'm looking. How are you sitting down doing nothing? Or are you sweeping and so I'm noticing. Okay, this
Yes.
person because I know you're working at this job. I probably know how much they're paying you. But yet you getting up, you sweeping, you wiping, and nobody told you to do it.
Right.
That means you have initiative.
That's right. And so
I can teach you to do what I need you to do.
That's right.
I can't teach you initiative though.
That's right. You can't teach work ethic, because if somebody doesn't have work ethic,
You ain't gonna make it.
so I look for that.
Okay.
And that's how I've been able to build my team here. I've been able, and I spent the time. So some of your best talent will come from your Uber drivers or your taxi drivers, because they're taking the initiative to go out there at least. And like one young man, he's an Uber driver, but his mindset is right. So I told him, I said, okay, I'm gonna give you a shot. So what I did, I started teaching him how to do video work. I said, come on, just put that camera up for me real quick. Just set that up for me. And I watch how he works. He said, I'll get your bag for you. And I'm just listening, and I'm watching. He set the whole thing up. I said, okay. I said, now, I just taught you a new trade today. He was like, you're right. But if he got in the car and his conversation was different, I wouldn't have even thought to do that.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have even been.
Yeah, I'll get you.
Yeah.